हेलो 10th क्लास स्टूडेंट्स, हाउ आर यू? आप लोग कैसे हो? आज मैं आप लोगों के लिए साइंस का लेक्चर रिफ्रैक्शन ऑफ लाइट लेकर आया हूं। इसके पहले हमने रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ लाइट के बारे में अध्ययन किया था। आज रिफ्रैक्शन ऑफ लाइट एंड लेंस के बारे में बात करेंगे और इसके बाद इससे रिलेटेड कुछ न्यूमेरिकल भी करेंगे। ये लेक्चर आपका ज्ञानवर्धन करेगा और आपके फर्दर स्टडी में बहुत ही मदद करेगा। आप कृपया हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना और बेल आइकन दबाना न भूलिए। ऐसा करने से आपके पास हमारा लेक्चर सबसे पहले पहुंचेगा, इसलिए आप पाठ सेतु को सब्सक्राइब करना और बेल आइकन दबाना न भूलिए। धन्यवाद। बच्चों, जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, हमने इस चैप्टर के पहले भाग में रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ लाइट के संबंध में बातें की थी और यह भी समझा था कि लाइट सीधी रेखा में चलती है और किस तरह से लॉ ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन को फॉलो करती है। इसके बाद हमने मिरर में होने वाले इमेज का फॉर्मेशन कैसे होता है, चाहे वह प्लेन मिरर हो या फिर गोलीय दर्पण हो, स्फेरिकल मिरर हो। दोनों इस कंडीशन में हमने स्टडी किया था कि हाउ इमेजेस आर फॉर्म्ड इन द मिरर। अभी हम इस लेसन में रिफ्रैक्शन ऑफ लाइट में थोड़ा नई चीजें अध्ययन करेंगे जो लेंस से रिलेटेड होंगी और लॉ ऑफ रिफ्रैक्शन से संबंधित बातें होंगी। चलिए आगे हम बढ़ते हैं। रिफ्रैक्शन ऑफ लाइट होता क्या है? अपवर्तन का नियम। रिफ्रैक्शन ऑफ लाइट को हम बोलते हैं अपवर्तन। तो अपवर्तन क्या होता है और इसके नियम क्या होते हैं, आइए हम देखते हैं। Here we have a study in previous part of this lesson that light is traveling in straight path in same media। जब मीडिया सेम हो, माध्यम सेम हो, तो लाइट एक सीधी रेखा में गमन करती है, चलती है। But here we'll see how light bends or change its path and travel। तो जैसे ही मीडियम चेंज होता है, जैसा हमने इस पिक्चर में शो किया है, एयर से जब पानी की तरफ, वाटर मीडिया की तरफ या वाटर मीडिया से एयर की तरफ जब रेस ऑफ लाइट ट्रेवल करती है तो वे अपने पाथ से डेविएट हो जाती है, अपने रास्ते से को बदल देती है। और इस फेनोमेना को, इस प्रक्रिया को हम रिफ्रैक्शन ऑफ लाइट के नाम से भी जानते हैं। When light travels from one media to another media, from air to water, oblique glass, and vice versa, it's changed its path. Just we can see this phenomena in picture here. I have given two pictures and you can see here light coming from water and going to air, so it has changed its path. It is deviated from its path. I have shown here fish in the pond. So because of this effect, this fish is just appears like above its original position. Now here also in second picture you can see light is changing its path, not going straight. it is either bending towards normal or going away from the normal. So here we can talk, it appears that when traveling obliquely from one medium to another medium, the direction of propagation of light in the second medium changes. This phenomena is known as refraction of light. मीन्स लाइट अपने पाथ से डेविएट होती है जब एक मीडिया से दूसरे मीडिया में प्रवेश करती है या एंटर करती है. Here we'll see type of medium and practical aspects of refraction of light. There are basically two type of medium, rare medium and dense medium. For example, air is rare with respect to water and glass, etc. So, when lights travel from rare media to dense media, it bends towards the normal. जब लाइट रेयर मीडिया से डेंस मीडिया में मूव करती है, एंटर करती है, तो वो नॉर्मल की तरफ झुक जाती है. एंड when light travels from dense media to rare media, it goes away from the normal. Normal से दूर हो जाती है. A line drawn perpendicular to the plane at point of incidence of ray is called normal. Here we can see we have put one glass piece, glass slab here, and glass is one media and another media is air. So when light is coming from air, you can see here, this is point of incidence where normal is drawn perpendicular to the surface of the glass. So you can see here, light is just bending towards the normal and making the angle R1, and here light coming and in falling on the glass piece where angle I is made between incident ray and normal. So just again it is coming, this light traveling through glass medium and coming out from that glass medium to air. You can just see in this glass slab and air medium. Rare glass is dense medium, whereas air is rare medium. So you have just understand how light is traveling from one medium to another medium. Two angles are made, angle of incidence here and angle of reflection. Just you can see in the figure I and R. Next, we'll go for further. Now we'll talk about laws of refraction. There are two laws of refraction. First is the incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal to the interface of two transparent media at the point of incidence all lies in the same plane. Here you can see that I have shown one figure, light coming from air and going to water here. So air is rare media and water is dense media. So light coming from air, you can see here, making the angle between normal and incident ray, that is I, and when it is going to dense media, there is an angle formed between normal and refracted rays, that is angle R. So we can see here incident ray, normal, and this refracted rays. All the three are in same plane. Plane is same for all the three. This is first law of refraction. Second is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is always constant. इंसिडेंस एंगल का साइन और रिफ्रैक्टेड एंगल का साइन का रेशियो हमेशा कांस्टेंट होता है. दिस इज द सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ रिफ्रैक्शन. सो वी कैन शो हियर sin I by sin R is equal to constant. So this constant value is called the refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first and denoted by mu. We'll see further what is going on. Now we will talk about refractive index. What is refractive index? Refractive index क्या होता है? जैसा कि हमने जस्ट थोड़ी देर पहले पढ़ा, we have already studied that a ray of light that travels obliquely from one transparent medium into another will change its direction in the second medium. See here in picture, light is coming from air and going in another media, that is glass. You can see here it is bending its towards normal. Otherwise, when it is going from rare media to dense media, you can say that it is bending towards normal. But if it is going from dense media to rare media, it is going away from the normal. So the extent of the change in direction that takes place in a given pair of media is expressed in the terms of the refractive index, which is constant. So we can say here the refractive index can be linked to an important physical quantity, that is the relative speed of propagation of light in different media. It turns out that light propagates with different speeds in different media. We can say that in vacuum or in air, the speed of light is 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second, but it will not be same as in glass media or water media. So more or less we can say that in air the speed of light is only marginally less than vacuum, but in case of water or glass it is changed due to refractive index for a given pair of media. Depends upon the speed of light in the two media. Refractive index is affecting the speed of light. Now we'll see here in next. Now we'll talk about refractive index and velocity of light. Just assume or consider a ray of light traveling from medium 1 into medium 2. Let V1 be the speed of light in medium 1 and V2 be the speed of light in medium 2. The refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1 is given by the ratio of the speed of light in medium 1 and the speed of light in medium 2. This is usually represented by the symbol N21. Here you can see in formula N21 is equal to speed of light in medium 1 to the speed of light in medium 2, that is equal to V1 by V2. So we can say that the refractive index in respect of velocity of light is the ratio between speed of light in medium 1 to the speed of light in medium 2. And if you are giving this formula for N12, means by the same argument the refractive index of medium 1 with respect to medium 2 is represented as N12, and that is speed of light in medium 2 to the speed of light in medium 1, means it is the ratio of V2 by V1. So just you can see in here picture, light coming from air media to second denser media is having different speed. So if V1 is here and V2 is here, then we can say that the refractive index will be V1 by V2, or if it is coming from this dense media and going to rare media, then we can say that refractive index will be V2 by V1. So if medium is vacuum of air, then the refractive index of medium 2 is considered with respect to vacuum. This is called the absolute refractive index of the medium. So question is here, what is absolute refractive index? If medium 1 is vacuum, assume that, or air, then the refractive index of medium 2 is considered with respect to vacuum, and this is called the absolute refractive index of the medium. If c is the speed of light in air and v is the speed of light in the medium, then the refractive index of the medium Nm is given by c by v. Is given by c by v. So in this way we can just learn here what is refractive index and how light is coming from one medium to another medium, changing its speed. Next, in this slide I have shown absolute refractive index table for different material medium. Just you can go through here, and next we will talk about optical density. Just we have talked about rare media and dense media. So here we'll just see optical density. Optical density is different from mass density. So we'll talk here the ability of a medium to refract light is also expressed in terms of its optical density. Optical density has a definite connotation. It is not the same as mass density. जैसा कि हमने अभी बताया कि ऑप्टिकल डेंसिटी मास डेंसिटी से अलग होती है. We have been using the terms rare medium and denser medium. Just we have talked in previous slides. There are two media, rare medium and denser medium or dense medium. In this chapter, it actually means optically rare medium and optically denser medium respectively. So just we have seen in previous slide about optical density and optical denser medium and rare medium. Now we'll talk about refraction by spherical lenses. So here we can just say that what is lens and type of lens. So a transparent material bounded by two surfaces of which one or both surfaces are spherical forms a lens. I have seen here this is lens. It is made up of two surfaces, spherical surfaces, and bounded together. So we can see here there are two type of lens, convex lens and concave lens. Here I have shown convex lens in picture, and further we will see concave lens also. So convex lens, a lens may have two spherical surfaces bulging outwards. Such a lens is called a double convex lens, or simply we can say that convex lens. Its surface are outwards. Convex lens having surfaces outwards, बाहर की तरफ उभरा हुआ जिसका तल रहेगा उसे उत्तल लेंस हम कहते हैं। ऐसा लेंस जिसका तल बाहर की तरफ उभरा हो, ऐसे लेंस को उत्तल लेंस हम कहते हैं। और we can say that convex lens. It is thicker at the middle as compared to the edges. मिडल में, मध्य में यह मोटा होगा और किनारे पर एजेस के ऊपर थीन होगा, पतला होगा। एंड कॉन्वेक्स लेंस converges light rays, hence convex lenses are also called converging lenses. ये लाइट को एक पॉइंट पर एकत्रित करते हैं, इसलिए हम इनको कन्वर्जिंग लेंस भी बोलते हैं। Now next is refraction by concave lens. Concave lens, just I have shown here in figure. The surface of lens is bended. It is thick at the edges and thin at the center. So वे लेंस जिनके तल झुके हुए होते हैं उसे हम अवतल लेंस के नाम से जानते हैं, और यह सेंटर में थीन होता है, पतला होता है, और किनारों पर मोटा होता है। A double concave lens is bounded by the two spherical surfaces curved inwards, simply called a concave lens. झुका, अंदर की तरफ झुका हुआ होता है, ऐसे लेंस को हम अवतल लेंस कहते हैं। It is thicker at the edges than at the middle. Such lenses are diverging lens. They are diverging the rays of light. A lens, either a convex lens or a concave lens, has two spherical surfaces. Each of these surfaces forms a part of sphere. मतलब चाहे वह अवतल लेंस हो या उत्तल लेंस हो, ये एक गोले के भाग होते हैं, ऐसा हमें अपीयर होता है, महसूस होता है। तो हम ये कहते हैं कि लेंस गोले का भाग होता है और इसके दो सरफेसेस होते हैं, या तो वो बाहर की तरफ उभरे हुए होंगे या अंदर की तरफ झुके हुए होंगे। तो इस तरह की से हम कह सकते हैं कि लेंस दो प्रकार का होता है, कॉनकेव लेंस एंड कॉन्वेक्स लेंस। स्फेरिकल लेंसेस टर्म्स। स्फेरिकल लेंसेस जो गोलीय लेंस होते हैं, इनमें कुछ डेफिनेशन हम स्टडी करेंगे, लाइक सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर, प्रिंसिपल एक्सिस, ऑप्टिकल सेंटर, etc. Here I have shown one picture. This is picture of convex lens MN and it is having center O. Here is the principal axis on which F1 and 2F1 is shown, and other side F2 and 2F2 is shown. So center of curvature, the center of these spheres are called center of curvature of the lens. The center of curvature of a lens is usually represented by the letter C. Here you can see, since there are two centers of curvatures, we may represent them as C1 and C2, just you can see in the picture. Now principal axis, an imaginary straight line passing through the two centers of curvatures of a lens is called its principal axis. This is the principal axis going through O point. Optical center. The central point of a lens is its optical center. It is usually represented by the letter O. A ray of light through the optical center of a lens passes without suffering any deviation. Means जो लाइट की रे से ऑप्टिक सेंटर से पास होती है, वह अपने पाथ से डेविएट नहीं होती है, सीधी चली जाती है। तो दिस इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ ऑप्टिकल सेंटर ऑफ द लेंस। रूल्स ऑफ इमेज फॉर्मेशन इन कॉन्वेक्स एंड कॉनकेव लेंस। कॉनकेव और कॉन्वेक्स लेंस में इमेज फॉर्मेशन होने के कुछ रूल्स हैं, जिसको हम यहां पर देखेंगे। नंबर 1 रूल्स, the ray coming from infinitive and parallel to the principal axis will, after refraction, converge to focus. Here you can see in both the picture, in concave lens and convex lens. Second rule is the ray coming from focus 1, after refraction, it is being parallel to the principal axis, and in rule 2, here in the picture of convex lens and concave lens, you just see how it is becoming parallel to the principal axis. And rule 3 is When a ray coming from passing through O of the lens, optical center of the lens, it is going straight. It will not deviate its path. So there are three rules. Rule number 1, ray coming parallel to the principal axis will converge or go through focus 2, and ray coming from focus 1 after refraction will be parallel to the principal axis, and third is ray coming to optical center and passing through from there will not deviate its path. Here we'll see images formed by a convex and concave lens by putting object at different positions. In convex lens, we'll see 6 type of images are formed, whereas in concave, we'll see only 2 type images formed. And here I have shown convex lens where you can put the object at infinity beyond 2f1, at 2f1, between f1 and 2f1, at focus f1, between focus f1 and optical center O. These are the position of the object, and accordingly object is formed. We will study in further slides. And second is concave lens. Here only 2 type of images are formed by keeping the object at infinitive and also between infinitive and optical center O of the lens. So we'll see in ray diagram how images are being formed. Now here we will see images formed by a convex lens and concave lens. First we will see image formed by convex lens. When we are putting the object at infinitive and image at principal focus is formed, and it is highly diminished as point, and this image is real and inverted. Here you can see rays coming parallel to the principal axis from infinitive, meeting at focus point 2 of the lens at principal axis, is forming the image as point you can see here, and this image is highly diminished, बहुत ही छोटा पॉइंट के रूप में होगा, एंड इसका नेचर जो होगा रियल होगा एंड इन्वर्टेड होगा. सेकंड इमेज, when object kept at beyond 2f1, you can see here object is kept beyond 2f1, light of ray coming from point A of object and going towards the lens. After refraction, it is passing through f2, and one more ray coming from A and passing through optical center. Both the rays are meeting at point, and there it is forming the image A dash B dash between f2 and 2f2. So we can say that object kept at beyond 2f1 will form the image within f2 and 2f2, and the nature of image will be diminished, inverted, and real. Means the size of image will be lesser than the object, and it will be real and inverted. Next, when object kept at 2f1 and image formed at 2f2, and that is same size, means equal size of object, and this is real and inverted. See here, object is kept at a 2f1, that is AB object, and rays coming from A, after refraction it is passing through f2, and one more ray coming from A, which is passing through optical center, and here you just see it is meeting at 2f2. So image is formed at 2f2, and this is equal to the object. Image is equal to the object, but it is real and inverted. Next case is when object is kept between 2f1 and f1. So here again you see ray coming from point A of object. After refraction it is passing through f2, and again ray coming from A, passing through optical center O, and meeting at a point where which is beyond 2f2. Here you can see image is formed beyond 2f2, and this is enlarged image. It is also real and inverted. So we can say that object kept at 2f1, between 2f1 and f1, will form the image beyond 2f2, and that the nature of image will be in size, enlarged, real, and inverted. Here we'll see when object is kept at f1, focus 1, then image is formed at infinitive, and that is highly enlarged, real, and inverted image. So we'll see here in ray diagram, object AB is kept at f1. From point A of the object, ray is coming towards the lens, and after refraction it is passing through focus 2, that is f2, and one more ray coming from object point A is passing through optical center of the lens. Both the rays are appears to be going towards infinitive. So we can say that the image is formed at infinitive is highly enlarged, real, and inverted. In second case, object is kept between f1 and optical center of the lens. So ray diagram you can see here, ray coming from A, after refraction passing through f2, and one more ray coming from A, passing through optical center. Both rays are extended behind the lens, or we can say that behind the object image is formed, that is enlarged, virtual and erect. So we have discussed here all images formed in convex lens. Only one condition is there when virtual image is formed, that is of an object kept between f1 and optical center. Now in next slide we'll study regarding concave lens images. Here we'll see image formed in concave lens. There are only two images formed in concave lens. Case 1 is when object kept at infinitive, then image formed at f1, that is highly diminished, virtual and erect image. We'll see in ray diagram, ray coming parallel to the principal axis after refraction, going away from concave lens, and if we are extending these two rays behind the lens, it is meeting at focus f1 where image is formed. We can see here it is in the size of point, that is highly diminished, virtual and erect image. Next is when object is kept between two f1 infinitive and optical center. When object is kept between infinitive and optical center, image is formed between f1 and optical center, that is small and erect and virtual. So we can see here in ray diagram, object is kept here between two f1 and f1, that is AB object, ray coming from A towards the concave lens and going away, one more ray coming from A passing through optical center. When first ray is extended behind, then it will meet to second ray between f1 and O where image is formed, and that image is smaller than the object, that is diminished, virtual and erect image. So in this way we have completed the formation of images in concave lens as well as in convex lens. Now we'll talk about lens formula. The lens formula is 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u, whereas v is the distance between image and optical center, u is the distance between object and optical center, and f is focal length. So this is the relation 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. Next is magnification. How magnification of images are taking place in lens. We have seen sometimes it is bigger than the object, sometimes it is smaller than the object. So this is because of magnification. So magnification, we can say that the ratio of height of image to the height of object is called magnification. That is h dash or h1 by h. And we can write this as a in the form of v and u, that will be also equal to v by u. So we can say that m is equal to h dash by h or v by u. Now we will see the numerical. A concave lens has focal length of 15 centimeter. At what distance should the object from the lens be placed so that it forms an image at 10 cm from the lens? Also find the magnification produced by the lens. We'll see here what are the things given in the numerical. A concave lens always forms a virtual erect image on the same side of the object as we have studied just in previous slides. So here image distance V is equal to minus 10 cm is given in the question. Focal length is minus 15 cm. Why minus? Because it is left side. And object distance U is equal to, we want to know. So formula is 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. 1 by U we want to know by putting the V and F. Here we can find out 1 by U is equal to 1 by minus 30 or U is equal to minus 30 cm. Because again we can see that object is kept towards left from O. Thus the object distance is 30 cm. Magnification M is equal to V by U. This is the formula. So minus 10 cm by minus 30 cm, it will come to 1 by 3, and this will be positive because minus minus plus. So it will be 0.33, and the positive sign shows that the image is erect and virtual. The image is 1/3 of the size of the object. So in this way we can just solve this numerical. Second is, now we will talk about second numerical, that is 2 cm tall object is placed perpendicular to the principal axis of a convex lens of focal length 10 cm. The distance of the object from the lens is 15 cm. Find the nature, position and size of the image. Also find its magnification. So here we'll see in solution. Height of the object is given plus 2 cm. Focal length is 10 cm plus 10 cm, and object distance U is equal to minus 15 cm. So we'll have to find out image distance, that is V, and also magnification of image. So we can see here formula is same, 1 by V is equal 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F, and after putting the parameters we can find out 1 by V, that is 1 by 30, and finally we'll see V is equal to plus 30 cm, because the positive sign of V shows that the image is formed at a distance of 30 cm on the other side of the optical center. So other side of optical center is, we know, positive. The image is real and inverted. Now we'll calculate the magnification M. As we know, magnification M is equal to H dash by H or V by U. So height of the image H dash is equal to 2 into plus 30 divided by minus 15, and here we are getting minus 4 after the calculation. So magnification factor M is equal to V by U, and that is 30 by minus 15 cm, and it is equal to minus 2. M is equal to minus 2. So we can say that the negative signs of M and H dash show that the image is inverted and real. It is formed below the principal axis. Thus, a real inverted image 4 cm tall is formed at a distance of 30 cm. On the other side of the lens, the image is 2 times enlarged than object. So, we have calculated this numerical, and finally I think you have understand the things. Now we'll talk about power of lens. पावर ऑफ लेंस क्या होता है, कैसे इसको डिफाइन करते हैं, इसके बारे में हम अभी स्टडी करेंगे. As we know, we have already learned that the ability of a lens to converge or diverge light rays depends on its focal length f. लेंस की डाइवर्जिंग और कन्वर्जिंग एबिलिटी जो है वह फोकल लेंथ के ऊपर डिपेंड करती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, a convex lens of short focal length bends the light rays through large angles by focusing them. Similarly, concave lens of very short focal length cause higher divergence than the one with longer focal length. So, the degree of convergence or divergence of light rays achieved by a lens is expressed in terms of its power. The power of a lens is defined as the reciprocal of its focal length, and it is represented by the letter P. The power P of a lens of focal length f is given by P is equal to 1 by f, where f is taken in meter and the unit of power of lens is diopters. So with this we have completed the lesson, and will say that whatever things you have learned here, if you have doubt, you can write in comment box and ask the doubt. So once more I will request, subscribe my channel Path Setu, like and put your remarks or comments for this lecture. Thank you. धन्यवाद.